The fourth poem of the book Flamingo, A Thing of Beauty, written by John Keats. It's a very famous poem by John Keats, and we often hear people repeating one famous line from it, that a thing of beauty is a joy forever. Let's read something about the poet. John Keats, he was born in 1795 and he had died in 1821. He was a British romantic poet. Romantic does not necessarily mean that he included romance in his writing. Romantic means he was an imaginative poet. He could imagine things and write about them. Although trained to be a surgeon, Keats decided to devote himself wholly to poetry. Keats' secret, his power to sway means to move, and delight, make happy the readers, lies primarily in his gift for perceiving the world and living his moods and aspirations in terms of language. The forte, the secret, the power of Keats was that he had the ability, right, to perceive, to notice, to realize the world as it is. He could experience the moods and the desires of the world, and he could give a language to this. The following is an excerpt means extract, from his poem Endymion, a poetic romance. This poem is based on a Greek legend. Legend is an old story in which Endymion, a beautiful young shepherd and poet who lived on Mount Latmos, Mount means mountain, Latmos, had a vision of Cynthia. Here, Endymion, who is a shepherd, right, and a poet also, he happened to see Cynthia. Cynthia is the moon goddess. The enchanted youth, the attracted youth, resolved, made up his mind to seek her out, to find her out, and so wandered away through the forest and down under the sea. He went out in order to find Cynthia through the forest and down under the sea as well. This is mentioned in his poem Endymion, a poetic romance, of which this is a short extract. Before you read, what pleasure does a beautiful thing give us? Are beautiful things worth treasuring? Well, I believe that beautiful things give us a lot of happiness, a lot of memories. And are they worth treasuring? Yes, of course, they can be treasured, as they always make us happy. Let's have a look at the poem now. A thing of beauty is a joy forever. The poet says that any object of beauty, or any object which you find beautiful, that beautiful object will give you such a joy that will last for a lifetime, that will be perennial, that will remain forever, that will never end. Its loveliness increases. The loveliness of that beautiful thing which you have seen, it will keep on increasing in your life with your age. It will never pass into nothingness. Nothingness means a thing of no value, a useless thing. It will never happen that that beautiful thing would be rendered useless in your life, will lose its identity, will lose its value in your life. But what will it do? But will keep a bower quiet for us. The meaning of bower is a shady place under a tree. So, as a shady tree provides us comfort, provides us peace, relaxation, so is the joy which we derive from a beautiful thing will do to us. That the joy which we derive from a beautiful object, it will act as a bower, as a shady place for us, peaceful, and a sleep full of sweet dreams, because we will be happy. The joy that we derive out of seeing a beautiful thing, because we'll be happy, we will be able to enjoy a sound sleep which is full of sweet dreams as well. When do we dream? When we are having a sound sleep, right? And when will we have a sound sleep? When we are happy. And when are we happy? When we see a beautiful object. And health. And when we will be happy, automatically our health will also improve. We will be healthy also in our lives. You must be knowing that anger and negativity, they have an adverse effect on our body, and people become unhealthy also. But the thing of beauty will help us enjoy a sound sleep full of sweet dreams and a good health also, and quiet breathing as well. When we are happy, we breathe normally. We will be able to enjoy a silent breathing. When we turn angry, our breath, we take uh, fast breath, right? we tend to breathe in a fast way when we are angry, but this is not so here. We will be able to enjoy a quiet, a calm breathing. Therefore, this is why on every morrow means morning, are we wreathing? Wreath of flowers is a circular band of flowers that is offered to martyrs. Whenever our soldiers get martyred, the dignitaries, they offer their tributes to them by offering them a wreath of flowers, that circular binding of flowers, right? So every morning we are wreathing, we are binding, we are weaving, we are making a flowery band to bind us to the earth. This line can have two meanings. The first meaning is that because we every morning we weave, we make a wreath of flowers that makes us or helps us remain connected to mother nature, right? When we are using a beautiful object of nature for our use, we remain connected to mother nature. The other meaning can be that it is the beautiful associations in our lives, beautiful relationships, beautiful emotions in our lives that make us look forward to one more day in our lives. Because we are happy, we have beautiful emotions, beautiful associations, relationships. This is why we remain connected to earth. This is one reason which justifies our presence on earth, and we look forward to leading our life. Spite of despondence. Despondence means sadness. Spite means, here you need to read it as in spite of. In spite of sadness. Now the poet has mentioned certain negativities, certain negative things which we experience in our lives. In spite of sadness, and why is there sadness? Of the inhuman dearth, inhuman, lacking human values, because we lack human values these days. Dearth means shortage of noble natures. Noble means good nature. Because there is dearth, there is shortage of good nature in people. Of the gloomy days, we suffer from sad days. Of all the unhealthy and over darkened ways. Of all the unhealthy means bad, and over darkened means evil ways we accept in our lives, made for our searching. And we suffer from all these things, all these negative things: sadness, lack of human values, lack of good nature in human beings. We suffer from sad days. We suffer from bad and evil ways uh, adopted by people in our lives. Why do we suffer from these things? Made for our searching. Because we search for happiness in our lives, right? We suffer from, when we do not achieve happiness, we tend to be negative in our lives. We suffer from these things because made for our searching, because we search for happiness in our lives. Yes, in spite of all, the poet says, yes, in spite of being suffering from all these things, some shape of beauty moves away the pall. Pall means dark covering. The poet says there are certain objects of beauty in the nature that that remove the covering from our disappointed spirits, right? Dark spirits here means our disappointed souls, our sad souls. And now, from here on, the poet has mentioned the physical objects of beauty which are present in the nature, from which we can derive happiness. Such the sun. The first beautiful object is the sun, the moon, trees old and young. Both the trees are beautiful, may be them the young trees or the old trees. Sprouting a shady boon. Sprouting a shady boon means producing a shady. Boon means advantage. The trees, they put forth a shady place for simple sheep. Simple sheep. Again, this line can have two meanings. The literal meaning is that the sheep, they get shade, they get some rest under the trees. The other meaning can be, it is the biblical meaning. We get this meaning from the Bible. You might have seen in certain pictures, Lord Jesus has been shown driving uh, a herd of sheep. So here sheep depicts the humanity, human beings, and Lord Jesus is the tree who is protecting the sheep, who is protecting the humanity. All right. And such are daffodils. The next thing the poet talks about that are beautiful are the daffodils flowers. Daffodils are yellow colored flowers with the green world they live in. The green world they live in means the green plants over which they grow. Even they are beautiful. And clear rills. Clear means clear. Rills, the meaning is given below. Rills are small streams of water. And then there is beauty in small streams of water as well, that for themselves a cooling covert make against the hot season. Cooling, which provides a cooling effect. Covert means uh, an area which is covered with bushes. All right, these clear rills, these clear streams of water, they on their way make a covered area with bushes, right? Against the hot season, against in spite of the hot season, they manage to grow some bushes on their way which provide relief from the hot season to the creatures. The mid forest break, and then there is beauty in the mid forest means in the middle of the forest. Break are ferns, bushes. Ferns are plants which do not have stems, right? The leaves grow from the ground. And then there is beauty in the middle of the forest, the beauty of ferns, bushes growing there, rich with a sprinkling of fair musk rose blooms. And these ferns, these bushes are full of, rich means full of, sprinkling means scattering of, fair means beautiful, good, musk rose blooms. Musk rose is a variety of rose. So these flowers, musk rose flowers growing, right, scatter in a scattered way among the ferns. Even this sight is beautiful. And such too is the grandeur of the dooms. Grandeur means magnificence. The poet says, and then there is beauty in dooms means destruction. Here dooms means death. There is magnificence, there is beauty in the death also. Death of whom? Death we have imagined for the mighty dead. The death which is caused to the mighty people, people who lay down their lives for their nation, people who lay down their lives for a cause, or people who sacrifice their lives for a good cause. So in the death of such mighty people, right, there is beauty, there is magnificence in dooms also, in death, destruction also, that we associate with people who lay down their lives for a cause, for a good reason. All lovely tales that we have heard or read. Then there is beauty in all the lovely tales that we have either heard or read in a book. An endless fountain of immortal drink. What is an immortal? Immortal means which is never ending, right? Which keeps on going till infinity. Elixir drink. Immortal drink is the elixir. An endless fountain of mortal drink. The poet says in the end that these beautiful objects of nature, they are endless. They are endless like an immortal drink, like an elixir we call amrit in Hindi. So these objects are like an immortal drink. They are never ending source of beauty. It's like a fountain, right? And which is from which beautiful things are coming up, and they will never end. Pouring unto us, pouring over us from the heavens brink. Heaven means paradise, brink means corner. The poet says that God is perhaps pouring these beautiful objects of nature from the corner of the paradise for the human beings, right? So that they may have a look at these beautiful things and derive joy out of them. Thank you.